Hey guys, Brickman117, welcome back to the channel and my latest Mega Ideas project, ODST Insertion. As there is currently no official Mega Ideas program, I decided there was only one thing to do.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
And so I created my own. First time around, I created the Forerunner Flood Containment Lab diorama set inspired by one of the Halo CE anniversary terminals. And this time round, in case it wasn't obvious, the inspiration came from the Halo 2 anniversary cutscene, Delta Halo. This is hands down one of my favourite cutscenes in all of Halo 2. There are absolutely loads to choose from, but this one really stuck in my mind. So I couldn't resist building a set focused on it.
Could we possibly make any more noise?
My primary objective with this idea was to create a set that people could buy multiples of to create large-scale dioramas for them to display their other sets on. It's something that's seriously lacking in the Mega Halo line. I see people all the time crying out for sets with foliage pieces, rock pieces, tree pieces, just general terrain, base plates, as well as general building blocks that can be used to create structures, in this case, ancient ruins. But when it comes to sets, Mega seem to want to focus on something that you will want to buy. So I decided to incorporate it as an ODST set because everybody seems to like ODSTs. Halo 2 ODSTs are a big fan favourite, so this is a great way if they included a drop pod, one ODST, and you'll see shortly a couple of Covenant figures. It's a great base, just generic figures, and you'll see shortly if you multiply this set it has great potential. Before I show you the potential of having multiples of a set like this, I've broken the set down so you can see what it consists of. In total, there's 623 pieces, not including the drop pod, the weapons, or the figures. So under normal Mega pricing, you'd expect it to be around the $60 to $70 mark. That said, there are a lot of large pieces and specialist pieces in this set, so I've no doubt that probably would push the price up. That said, when you times it by 3, you can see it's a great set to have. It's worth mentioning at this point that all of the yellow parts you see are only yellow because I didn't have enough grey pieces to multiply the set by 3. So ideally all the yellow parts would be grey, and also the tan pieces that I used to create the ancient ruins, they're from Call of Duty sets, and I didn't have enough of those to multiply the set by 3 either. So unfortunately I wasn't able to create the structure 3 times bigger, but I think you still got the idea of what army building this set would look like. As you can see, having 3 times as many base plates gives you so much more area to work with, and because of the shape of the base plates it means they're incredibly versatile and flexible as to how you want to lay out your base plates, or terrain as it were. I've chosen to elevate many of the base plates just because I think it makes the diorama look more dynamic and more interesting rather than it being all flat on one level. Not to mention when you do play this level, you do land and you start lower down and you wind your way up the hillside to the ancient ruins. There really are endless combinations of how you can put all these terrain base plates together, and as you can see underneath I've just used all of these 2x4 bricks, which is why I wanted there to be a lot in the original set because they make great supports. Here they're all yellow, red and grey, but ideally they'd all be grey. And whilst it doesn't look particularly nice from the back, it does make the structure incredibly solid. So when you do start building the ancient ruins, putting foliage on or just placing figures, it's really stable. It's just like pushing down onto a desk rather than a standing structure. Once I'd settled on how I wanted my terrain to look and I was happy, I then wanted to place the drop pods. I wanted them to be one of the main features of the diorama, so I wanted to make sure I got them in before I started covering it with foliage and other things. Just like I did in the original diorama, I used the black pieces just to act like burn or scorch marks where the red hot drop pods came down and just crashed into the earth. I chose to use all 3 drop pods that you would get with the set, but ultimately if you didn't want 3 in there you could have 1 or even none. It depends what sort of diorama you're going for, but for this purpose I wanted all 3 in there just to reflect how that level starts. Once I was happy with my drop pod placement, I then moved on to the ancient ruins, and as you can see, the ancient ruins, well, they just look like ancient ruins. This is a really fun part of the build because you don't really have to get it right. In fact, you can't really get it wrong. You just build half-built structures and then they look like they're crumbling. And once you're happy with your ancient structure, it's finally time to dress it and bring it to life with all of those glorious foliage pieces consisting of trees, ferns, boulders, pebbles and other greenery. All of which I'm sure you'll agree makes a world of difference to bringing this diorama to life. Which again is why I feel we really need sets that we can army build to be able to create this kind of diorama. And now that the foliage is on, I think it really goes to emphasise how having things on different levels really helps the diorama as well. But as good as this looks, we're not even finished yet because we haven't even put any figures on. So the original set that I showed had one ODST. I had planned to put a Covenant Grunt and Elite in the original set. So if we times it by 3, we'd have 3 ODSTs, 3 Grunts and 3 Elites. So let's see what that looks like. And once again, it just makes it look even better. And you can display these figures anyhow you like. You can have a lot of fun just with what I've got here. I've chosen to have this ODST facing off against this Elite as soon as he's come out of his drop pod. This ODST here is hoping to take out this Elite coming out of the ancient ruins with his rocket launcher. And then this Elite just coming up the hill is chasing away this Grunt. And at the back here you can see this Elite is really angry with these 2 Grunts that are taking a nap. So it's all a bit of fun, but that's what the dioramas are supposed to be about. It really does allow you to use your imagination to try and recreate that opening scene in Halo 2, Delta Halo Mission. I had a huge amount of fun putting this diorama together and then setting the figures up, and it is something that I would like to keep as a display piece, so I may not take it apart straight away. But the fun doesn't end there. I said at the beginning of this video, the idea of this set was something that you could multiply, so you could incorporate other sets. Now, this isn't really big enough to incorporate a huge amount of things, but it is nicely sized to incorporate one of these very old Mega Bloks Covenant Shade turret sets. Now, I know it's not the one that you see in the cutscene, but it's close enough and it looks great on the diorama. And if you really wanted to, maybe you could drop a Chief in there as well. And again, I know it's not the right Chief, they're not the right ODSTs. That doesn't matter. The point is that you can do whatever you like with a set like this and it's just fun. So now that I've shown you my latest ideas set and what you could do with 3 of these sets, just imagine what you could do with 5, 6, 7 or more of these sets. You'd be able to create much larger dioramas big enough to incorporate other vehicles like Wraith tanks, Warthogs, even Pelicans. And as for the ancient ruins, if you had enough of these pieces, you could create some really decent size ancient ruins that you could get right inside, just like in the game. I personally think that this would make an absolutely fantastic set, but it's not all about me, it's about you guys. What do you think? Would you like this set? Do you care about structure sets? Do we need foliage pieces? Or are you just all about the figures and the vehicles? Because generally, Mega just focus on figures and vehicles. Is that because that's all we want? If you've got an opinion on this, have your say. Leave it in the comments section below. And also, don't forget to like the video. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.